domestic energy. Resources, actually, uranium resources account for 200 times the annual demand. The resources become virtually infinite with the next generation of reactors. And uranium is well distributed around the world, with major mines located in stable countries, like Canada and Australia. And last, we can recycle uranium, and I will come back to this. Yes, the story, in France is very simple. I was 10 years old in '73. I remember it very, very well, because I saw my father. He was a young doctor. He was a medical doctor. And I remember the crisis very well because he couldn't work anymore, because he couldn't drive his car, because it's not like in the US where it was more expensive or we have to be in line. In France, it's smaller. We don't have any, I don't know if you remember for people who were there, but we didn't have gas at the pump for 2 months. And we coined a phrase that we don't have petrol, nous n'avons pas de pétrole, mais nous avons des idées. We don't have petroleum, but we have ideas. And it's really, that's really pushed actually for the full nuclear program. And it was very interesting because at that time we needed nuclear power. At that time we need reliable nuclear power. We looked at all the reactors around the world. And we had, of course, our own French reactor. But we looked actually at the nuclear, I saw that you were in a nuclear submarine. And we looked at the nuclear fleet actually in the US, in the nuclear submarine fleet. And we saw that their PWR reactor was the best in the world. So guess what? We did something incredible. We borrowed with a fee the technology from the Americans. And so the fleet today, the 58 reactors, the 59, are made out of Westinghouse technology that was born in the nuclear submarines in the US. So what we're doing today, just returning the gift with a fee. Hey, it's American and French friendship. But this is very important to understand. In terms of energy security, nuclear energy can bring a lot. Fact number 3. Yes, nuclear energy is competitive. And actually, it's one of the cheapest energy right now around the planet. China and India, but also Sweden, Italy, the UK, Finland have all decided to launch a nuclear program, to relaunch a nuclear program. Actually, Italy is very interesting. Italy is the only country after Chernobyl who decided to stop their nuclear program. Actually, they shut down their reactors. They're coming back. The Brits, the British, pragmatic people, the Labour government, Democrats, they changed completely their policy. 4 years ago, they decided actually for energy security, and also because they believe it's competitive, to come back to nuclear energy. And the US utility have announced about 3 new projects. There is probably a reason, because we have never heard they were guided by philanthropic concerns. Yes, it represents a huge investment. Building a nuclear plant is very, very expensive. But the cost of generated electricity is extremely stable and predictable. For the next 50 or 60 years, it's not like gas power plant, actually. A lot were built 10 years ago. But when the price of gas went up, they couldn't operate anymore. It's not the case for nuclear energy. When you buy a nuclear reactor, you know the cost of the nuclear reactor for the next 40 years. And the great out of all, actually, the Americans are great. They built their nuclear plants, the nuclear fleet, for 40 years. But they saw that after 30 years, they were okay. No, they could continue. So the first thing that happened, actually, the nuclear renaissance in the US already started 10 years ago, when most of the utilities in the US, went to the NRC, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and asked for an extension of the license. 20 more years, 40 to 60 years. So now their nuclear assets are cash machines. Looked at their balance sheets. Oh, it's my New Jersey accent. I reverse. Look, these guys are extremely wealthy. And one of the reasons EDF, Électricité de France, is capable of beating Warren Buffett in buying Constellation is because they have 58 nuclear reactors. They are making tons of money. Yes? Fact number 4. it's the one I prefer because I used to be head of the recycling in the back end, which is recycling in France. Yes, nuclear energy is recyclable. And for me, it's puzzling, actually, because here in the US, I've been living almost 15 years in and out. We recycle everything. I mean, my 10 years old, my 14 years old, I mean, we have 4 or 5 bins. I don't know about New York. But in Washington, D.C., I have 5 bins. If I don't put the right one in the right bins, I mean, they yell at me. There's special training at school. So anyway, so we recycle everything. Actually, we sort. We don't know what we never know if we recycle it, actually. Yeah, we sort paper, we sort plastic, we sort glass, but you never follow the glass and the plastic. And maybe they end up in the landfill. So anyway, so we sort. We are great sorters. And we recycle everything, but we don't want to recycle nuclear fuel. Puzzling. Yes, my friends, maybe you don't know, but 96% of nuclear used fuel is recyclable. 95% of uranium and 1% of plutonium. It's an effective process to foster or to optimize the use of energy. Of course, it helps energy independence. Right now in the US, I don't know if you know that, but we have an inventory of 60,000 tons unloaded from US reactors. And if we were to recycle all of this, we will have 8 years of free electricity, nuclear energy in the US. It reduces the volume of high-level waste by a factor of 5. So maybe we can open YACA. Because YACA, as it is designed right now, even if it is built, I don't know right now because of the new administration, but it's full. Because YACA was designed for 63,000 tons. We already have 60,000. And it makes nuclear waste management an easier task. And I'm ready to answer your question about this. And if you come to France, and you're always welcome to France, to Normandy, there is a beautiful plant called La Hague at the top. I mean, if you go to, it's west. And when you hit the channel, you're there. And this is on a cliff. And this is a plant called La Hague, where we recycle nuclear fuel. We have been doing it for 40 years. We never had any incidents, thanks God. And it's working very well. It's economically, in my opinion, it's an economically, environmentally, and socially responsible approach. If you look at the numbers also, this is the numbers of used fuel, I mean the amount of used fuel that will be in inventory around the world in 2030, 400,000 tons. If we were to recycle all of this, we will get twice of Canada's uranium resources. So fact number, I repeat the facts because Madame said, again, facts are stubborn. Fact number 1, low carbon emission. Fact number 2, remember the French? Energy security. 3, fact number 3, this is cheap energy. 4, it's recyclable. 5, and it's very controversial, and I'm happy to answer a question about it, nuclear weapon proliferation. Actually, I believe that development of nuclear energy has nothing to do, it can be done in such a way under the International Safety Authority, controlled by IAEA. It can be done in such a way that it's non-proliferant. Let's face it, the nuclear bomb exists. We cannot disinvent it. And actually, in order to get rid of bombs, I don't know if you knew that, but we have a program here in the US called MOX for Peace, or how they call that? I think it's megaton to megawatt, where we are recycling military plutonium from bombs into fuel. And we are going to burn the fuel into American reactors. So actually civil nuclear energy can help reduce the inventory of bombs. Another fact that people forget is that if you look at the main proliferators, the bad guys, North Korea, Iraq, Iran,